This is the exact things and stuff and thoughts that made me more happier, successful, and most importantly, kept my mind in a safe place, in a calm place during this whole year. And we all know that there is nothing better for success than a calm mind and working hands. We didn't even start and I'm already making those jokes. Hello everyone! And this video is a small summary of the stuff, things, thoughts, features that made my life much better this year, and I can highly recommend it with a full of my heart to you, so you could make your life better in 2026. So I don't see any other reason why we shouldn't start, so let's start at that exact moment. The first thing that will make you the most successful person in your eyes is to write all your goals and stuff that you want to do in 2026 down. Everything that you want to have in this life has to be somewhere. Well, I mean, it has to be summarized somewhere. If the only place where you keep your goals is your mind, it's dreams. There is nothing wrong about dreams, it's just it stays in your mind. If you wrote the stuff down, well, you have a plan. So that was the first thing. The second thing about writing the stuff down is that you keep your head clean, especially if you're exactly like me, so you are an anxious person and you have a millions of thoughts in your head. Having a piece of paper and a piece of pen and writing all the things down will help you to clean your head and to realize what kind of goals you have and what you have to do and maybe what kind of plan you have to build as your second step. Now that you have your big goal, you can divide it to a smaller groups of goals. From those smaller groups of goals, you can divide them into a smaller, even smaller groups of goals. And from this third group, you can actually build a plan. I'm not gonna promise you that it's gonna work out 100% and you will be successful after you have your plan. Nope. You probably will fucked up, but at least you have a plan and you will have a chance to find out what works and what doesn't. The second thing is, what are you doing? That's the question that I was actually asking myself during this whole year. I want you to answer that question really honestly to yourself, not to your mom or any other person who is around you. I want you to know what you want. This year, then I finally find out what I want to do, or at least I decided what will be my goal for the next few years. And I started to talk a little bit about that. I found out that so many people around me, they have so many different versions of my life, how it's supposed to look like and what I actually should do instead of what I decided to do. And the thing is, those ideas they had in their minds, they had absolutely nothing to do with what I wanted to do. But of course, for them, the way my life's supposed to be and which direction I should move was the best version, because obviously they know the best. But you and me, we should decide what we actually want and stick to that plan, no matter what other people think or say or tell us to do, because they already have those moments that they could decide what they want to do with their lives. Now it's your turn, and you have to be completely honest with you, because if you're not gonna be honest with you, who else will be? So, decide what you want, stop sneaking around, and do what has to be done to achieve your goals. Even if it's crazy and still strange and all your environment and friends thinks that it's a stupid thing, well, don't tell them then. And if you are still afraid and you still need someone else's blessing, you have mine. As long as it doesn't restrict other people's will and it doesn't hurt anyone, you have my blessing to do whatever you want to do and achieve your crazy goals. The next thing, the third one, is do more than other people. So now you know what you want, exactly what you want. Your goals are written down. And now you have to do some extra work. If you want to learn the language, move to another country, find a partner, whatever you want to, you have to do some extra job, more than other people would do. And if you're not ready to do that, well, there is two options. The first one is that you still have to think about the point number 2 and decide whether that's your goal or maybe you don't even want that. Or the second option is that you're not ready. For those who are ready, here's the information that I have for you. Okay, now it's gonna be a show-off show, but there is a reason why people tell me that I am lucky or I have a talent or I get things fast. It's not because I'm talented. I have absolutely 0% of the talent. And the secret to that I define as a success is that I do extra work. I willingly do more than other people. And I'm not saying that I'm best of the best, because there will be always somewhere who is better than me and who did more work than I did. But I'm satisfied with the results that I have right now. And maybe if you want to be more satisfied and more happier about what you do some extra work. Extra work that will make you happier tomorrow. Maybe today you will be bored, but tomorrow you will be happier. So this year I get to the point then I actually realize what the phrase "if you want to have more in your life, you have to do more" means. So yeah, if you want to have more in your life, you have to do more than other people. Now we're gonna move on to the point number 4. I like the way I wrote it down. Boredom of success. Oh my god, I was such a poet. So we're gonna talk about feeling bored, then you are actually on your way to success. Shane Hollander was boring too. But turns out, he is not that boring. Need a doctor. Is there a doctor for obsession? I'm sorry to be the one to disappoint you, but a lot of the things that you have to do to actually achieve your goals and make your life look like you want it to look like will be actually boring, and you have to accept that. Doing researches, making some lists, other stuff that requires the fact that you have to sit still and just search for things or decide what you want to do are boring. But if your goal makes you keep going, even when you are bored, and you know that there will be happiness in that boredom, that means that your goal is great. To solve that and make your boring stuff more interesting, you actually have to add more interesting stuff in your life. For example, you can add Ilya. So, I mean, romanticize your life. I don't really like that idea of describing that, but if it's closer to you, you can describe that process as romanticizing your life. Make it more interesting. Be a main character. In my life, for my job, what I do, I have to do a lot of stuff sitting in the computer. For my social media, I have to do even more with the laptop. So I go outside and I work somewhere in the cafe or maybe in the library. If I will sit at home 24/7 and do everything that I have to do at home, I'll go bananas. I like to be all that mysterious and sit in the cafe and just look in the window and be like, you don't know what I'm doing. In the reality, I am the biggest star. No, I don't do that. I don't know, but do whatever you have to do to make your life more interesting, because our lives, they consist of the boring stuff, and it's in our hands to make them more interesting, to find our own Ilya. And just for the record, so you'll know how much obsessed I am. So it happened to be that my point number 4 was all around the obsession. You can share the current obsession that you have. Point number 5 is discipline over motivation. Well, on the way to your goal, you will reach a complicated middle. It's the moment when your motivation is no longer works and you find yourself in the place where your goal find you. Something like that. So you are, again, unmotivated. You still have a goal, but no motivation. It's actually another reason why it's great to have all your goals written down. You could remember where you started and how you felt at the beginning and what you actually wanted in the first place. And going back to the point, sometimes I feel like I don't want to do anything because I no longer have motivation. It's not like I would rather die, it's just I don't have any reasons to do that, because if you feel like you rather die, it sounds more like a burnout. But whatever. And in those moments, I can name you millions things, reasons why I shouldn't do that. And we could have the whole video about that. This exact feeling means a complicated middle. And we all have to go through that. No one knows when it hits. Maybe next month, maybe next year, maybe in the middle of this year, but it will hit you anyway. And you have to be prepared for that. So doing something today for the goal that you set yesterday will make you happier tomorrow. That was even better than the previous one. Number 6. For the people in their 20s with a lot of stuff to do, have a schedule. Best thing in the world. I can't recommend you one specific way of planning your day because we are all different. What I can recommend is to experiment with a lot of different ways of planning. What I do is that I have a phone for small stuff that appear in my mind during the day and just quickly write them down. I have a big notebook which I use for the stuff that require more time than just 1 minute. I have a smaller notebook where actually is my whole life, my schedule for the day, my content schedule, and to-do list for the day. And I also have a laptop. But laptop isn't that necessary. I use Notion for the stuff that I have to be scheduled and other things. But mostly I use laptop for scenarios or the stuff that has to be written down for my YouTube. And if you tell me that takes a lot of time, no, it doesn't. First of all, because I plan stuff as long as I know myself. Second thing is because I'm already used to that. So that's why you have to experiment with the planning, but you still have to plan stuff. Because if they are not written down, they are in your head and there is a high chance that you will forget something. Believe me, you will. Number 7 is also dedicated to planning. Plan day by the hours. Well, that takes time. But I have to be honest with you, I don't do that often. It helps when we have a lot of things to do during the day or maybe during the week. And if I have that big of a list of the stuff that I have to do during this week, I usually plan my week by the hour. I open my calendar in the phone and I put there all the events that will happen during the week, the important events that I can't move. I put them down at first and then I see how much time I actually have to achieve my goals, where I have more time, where I have less time, and where I have a lot of bunch of stuff that will happen during the day and I will be exhausted, so I can't do complicated things like thinking or to see where I need more time and where I have to create that time to do what has to be done. Mostly I do it when I know that I have this big list and I know that I will definitely, I wanted to say auf jeden Fall, definitely lose the track of time. Sometimes I forget how much time I have and I make a big list of stuff that I have to do during the day. And I get disappointed at the end of the day that I didn't do all of them, but I simply couldn't because I can't create more time than 24 hours during the day. So if you need it, sometimes it's okay to schedule your day by the hour. Number 8, and it's the third part about scheduling your life. Schedule your days off. Just for the record, days off doesn't mean that you are now have some extra time to be more productive and do good stuff and make yourself go nuts. No, this is a time for you to go and watch heated rivalry or do any other things that you want to do that make you feel relaxed. If it's a walk, go for a walk. Or I don't know, you like to collect puzzles. Go and collect puzzles because that's what your free day for, is for you to have fun. Those days we need them so we can recharge. And it's much easier to spend one day per week to just do what you want to do and just to relax, to do nothing for your goal, than to get better and get out from the burnout. Been there, done that. I don't recommend. And the last thing, but not least, is track your success. It's also something about making your boring more interesting. So whatever you use, tracking stuff, diaries, notebooks, maybe some other techniques like saying good stuff to yourself when you actually did some effort to achieve your goals, or maybe to say thank you for the stuff that you already have. That's all are trackers to track your success. This thing is useful to not forget where you started and where you are right now. And it also helps you to handle the middle. And never forget to compliment yourself and say a good stuff when you did some effort towards your goal. Yesterday, I met a person who was saying constantly that they are bad, they're doing something wrong, even then they actually did great. And I thought, okay, you're not gonna last for so long. Well, the first person in the world to actually compliment you and tell you how great you are is you. So don't waste that time by saying bullshit to yourself. It's been there, done that. Not recommend you. And we are finished. You don't see my legs, but they're beautiful. So, my favorite people in the world, we are finished for today. That was all the things that I wanted to share with you to make your new year 2026 your best year and make you happier. And I'm here always at this channel to make your life better. That's the purpose of this channel. If you have any thoughts, you have a comments, so you know what to do. And don't forget to share your obsession. And don't forget to subscribe, because we are slowly growing and I love each one of you. So I wish you all the best and I'll see you quite soon. They all had so many different versions. Virgin.